So I am in the sport mode now, and we're gonna get on it a little bit here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Dodge Charger Scat Pack wide body, aka the Dodge Charger Sweet Spot. Before we get into this video though, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Bountiful, Utah for giving me some time with this Charger. This one is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. If you have any questions or need any help whatsoever, just ask to work with Chris and Connor. They'll be more than happy to help you out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have the holy grail of powertrains, a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 485 horsepower and then 475 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of this Scat Pack. First off, this one's finished in Hell Raisin, and something that's awesome about the 2023 model year for Chargers and Challengers is you can pick pretty much any color you want for a Charger or Challenger for 2023 because it's the last year, so that's fun. Anyways, really cool hood scoop there in the center, and then you guys can see with the C-shaped daytime running lights, and it's got the Scat Pack logo there on the, well, kind of like off to the side in the front. And then I love the aggressive performance front fascia. Obviously you got to have a lot of airflow to feed that 6.4 liter V8, but yeah, it looks cool. And yes, it does still have the transport guards. It happens. It's what Dodge dealers do until they sell the car, so that if anything happens, you know, someone decides to go over a curb or something, you don't scrape the front end. Now come around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 305, 35, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheel design, notice how the wheel itself is kind of like a satin black in coloration. You've got a bunch of spokes, and so yeah, I feel like it's just a signature Charger design. SRT there with the brake caliper, and this does have Brembo brakes if you're wondering. And then this is the wide body kit here. You can see some massive fender flares, which if you take a step back, just looks really cool. We have our 392 Hemi badge here on the side, and we have the Charger like C thing there in the door. And then notice how the like wide body portion kind of connects there with the bodywork at the bottom, so it just has this really clean appearance. And yeah, there's your full side view. Sorry about the camera freaking out, by the way. So here's our key fob. You guys can see we've got the Dodge logo there on the back. We have our unlock function or lock function, the opening here for the trunk, and then the remote start function as well. So we'll press this a couple times and boom, it'll pop right open. And then you guys can see the storage space inside is absolutely fantastic. Another benefit here of the Charger is it's just a practical car. When you're all done, just, well, pop it down. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear. First off, we have the giant Dodge Charger light bar, which is just such a cool thing. And then notice with the turn signal, I feel like everyone's like copied Dodge now because they were like the first ones to do the LED light bars, and now everyone has LED light bars. Anyways, look at the spoiler here at the top, really aggressive. And then got the vents here at the back, part of the wide body kit. Look at those exhaust tips. It would be cool if they were blacked out, but you know, I'm not going to complain too much. Charger logo, and then Scat Pack logo there on the back as well. And yeah, like I said, this thing in purple looks so cool. Now popping inside, this is where things get real fancy. We actually have really nice padding here at the top with some contrasted stitching. And then down below you can see with the leather trim and then more padding and stitching. So it actually, again, looks really high quality. And popping here to the seats, this has the leather / Alcantara seats, so perforated in the center. Now this is one downside about the Charger. You guys can see legroom. Headroom. It's not the most spacious in the back seat. This is ultimately built off of a kind of old Mercedes-Benz platform, and so yeah. Anyways, you've got the little storage pocket here. We've got some vents, heated seat controls, USBs, and of course we have our center console cup holder armrest thing here in the back as well. Let's head to the front. So here's the front door panel. You can see again with the stitching that goes across and the padding, and then down below here again with more of that leather trim, and then you can see again with that padding. All of our window controls, front two are automatic, and then your mirror adjustments, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. We also have memory seats as well. And then here's the front seat. Notice Scat Pack logo there in the center, and then perforated down the center as well with the Alcantara. You can see at the bottom. Power adjustments here on the side. Let's actually see how much this bad boy weighs. So 865 pounds of payload capacity. And if we pop over here, I guess I'll have to flip around to see the gross vehicle weight rating. It is right there. So 5450. So that means this thing weighs a bit over 4,000 pounds. Wow. Anyways, here's the pedal layout. Light control right there. Steering wheel's power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel. We've got nice leather trim here at the top and at the bottom. Notice it's perforated here on these sides, so you can get a slightly better grip. Paddle shifters there for that 8-speed automatic, and then we do have radio controls down below. Some controls for the center stack, voice command, phone controls, cruise control as well. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and there's the steering wheel. So here's our center gauge cluster. As you can see, we've got the RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then we can scroll through some different menus here to see different bits of info. This is the fun stuff, right? The performance tab, so you can see everything on this car. Definitely a cool little thing, but other than that, pretty straightforward gauge cluster. So here is the center infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and you know, resolution's decent. Now moving on from that, dual zone climate controls and heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, definitely a nice thing to have. This also does have the performance pages, which we can pop over to. They always take it a second to load up, so while those are loading up, look at the trim here on the dash and all around, and then we have a 392 logo there off to the side, which is pretty cool, and then also the trim around the whole infotainment system area. But anyways, once you're on the performance pages, my favorite thing is the dyno, so it'll show us like real-time horsepower and torque. So right now we're just idling, but if I like, you know, get in the throttle a little bit, you guys can see it just peaks just a little bit there, which is definitely fun. Now there's also a drive mode button. I'll show it to you guys later, but when I press that, it pulls up this whole page. So notice there's an auto, custom, sport, and track. We also have launch control. You can use that after you have 500 miles on the car. And then look at our race options. We actually have line lock with this as well, so that'll basically help you do a massive burnout. So like, this thing is all set up for like muscle car fun. Down below, we've got analog controls here for the radio. Again, you've got your launch control button there, drive mode select, kind of like your shortcut button, and then you've got the climate controls, again, dual zone climate, little 12 volt right there. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. And then you've got our Dodge Brothers little logo right there. And then cup holders. And then here's the center console. Pretty cool. Nice padding and stitching there on top. And then glove box lined with felt, which is great. And then up top, we do have a sunroof. Pretty cool. And then notice here with the controls for the sunroof, and then just a darker colored headliner. So here's our window sticker for this Scat Pack. You guys can see the base MSRP of $48,745. And then if we pop down to optional equipment, that wide body package is about $6,000. I do think it's money well spent in the long term if you're going to keep the car for a while. And it does help out with the resale value, but especially if you're going to keep the car. Anyways, lots of other packages as well. Total MSRP, $64,100. 3-year, 36,000 mile basic warranty, 5-year, 60,000 mile on the powertrain. And let's see how she scoots. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both of the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Dodge Charger Scat Pack wide body. And oh man, I love this car so much. I am so sad to see cars like this disappear in the near future. So first off, seat comfort is really good. Now, if you want the most comfortable possible seats in Charger Challenger, the full leather seats definitely do have the nicest padding. Whenever you have like Alcantara in a seat, just because Alcantara never really softens over time, it just always has kind of like a firm feel. But if you like firmer seats, then that's going to apply. And also, if you like a steady seat, that's also going to apply. What I mean by steady seat is like, if you have an Alcantara seat, it just doesn't like ever, like I said, it doesn't ever like soften over time. So it's like, it always feels the same. So whether the car has 0 miles or, you know, 100,000 miles, the seat, you know, padding and everything pretty much feels the same, which is a big benefit. But yeah, that's the thing I love about these cars. They're just big, comfortable cruisers. Well, speaking of big, comfortable cruising, getting up here a little bit, just listen to that. You aren't going to get that with an EV. That is for sure. I don't know why that mirror is so like was like, what the heck? The visibility of that mirror is horrible. But yeah, seriously, you won't get that with EVs. Like, I don't care how good speaker technology gets, it will never be the sound of a Hemi exhaust. And again, ride comfort is really good. That's something that, you know, initially a lot of people criticized the Charger and Challenger for, but as cars have gotten more expensive and as people have realized that they can't afford to own multiple cars, they've learned that they love the suspension in this, because like you guys will see in a moment, tons of fun with driving, but it's also very daily drivable. Like you go, like I just went over that little bump there and it's fine. Like it's comfortable. It absorbs everything so well. And it just, again, it lends to like a luxury experience. And again, this ultimately isn't a luxury brand, but you know, they've definitely, again, they've brought up the interior quality quite a bit in the Charger and Challenger since they initially released this. And that's another thing that's good about this car, is because it's, you know, still built off of that, you know, Mercedes-Benz platform. They've had a lot of time to slowly tweak this and just make it better and better. I think this might be my new driving route. It seems like this is a little bit less stop and start with filming compared to the other driving route that I was using. Okay, so I am in the sport mode now, and we're gonna get on it a little bit here. Listen to that. Oh, buddy. Yep, this is the new driving route. This is officially the new driving route. That Hemi V8, you can't beat that power and that sound. We're gonna pop it back into the auto mode. It's just such an experience. And the thing I love about the Scat Pack is, yes, you can still, now obviously I'm gonna be respectful of this car and I'm not gonna do crazy stuff, but you can still get tail happy with this. You can still have a ton of fun, and handling's actually pretty decent. It is heavy, it is a heavy car. You definitely feel the weight a little bit, but you know, all things considered, it actually handles pretty well. And you know, for like, you know, street driving, I think that this is actually like, I prefer this to like a really hard edge sports car. Like when I drive this and then I go and drive like a Chevy Camaro or a Ford Mustang, for example, it's like, I prefer driving this on the road because it still handles good enough, and I still get the sound and the acceleration similar to those cars, but I don't have to deal with the, you know, rough suspension and everything. So yeah, it's just a lot. So anyways, to sum things up with this review, I think this is the sweet spot because you have enough power to have fun, but it's not so much power that you're constantly gonna be breaking the law when you're trying to have that fun. That's what happens with the Hellcat. Like with the Hellcat, you're not really having fun unless you're, you know, going way above the speed that you should be going, and then it's a game of when you're going to get pulled over and have your car repossessed because you've been pulled over so many times, right? Just kidding. But seriously, I love the power, and obviously they're getting rid of this, and it's such a fun experience. As for me personally, I've been thinking about this for a while. Like if I were to order a Charger or Challenger, what would I do? I think that I would order the Challenger just because you cannot get a Charger with a manual transmission. That's the only reason. I would do a Challenger, Scat Pack wide body, 6-speed manual, and yeah, I think that would be just an absolute blast. It's an expensive car nowadays. It's like a $60,000 car, but you know, I think it's worth it for the experience. Let me know what you guys think. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this wide body Scat Pack Charger. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Crest here in Bountiful, Utah for giving me some time with this Charger. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask to work with Chris and Connor if you have any questions or need any help. I'll see ya.